Hello, it's Howie, and you are joining me on This Week in the Degenerate Economy. Another fantastic week here, mid-August, of degeneracy. Let's start with my index. It's hitting all-time highs over the last 2 years, up 156%. We're not doing anything special, but this week I am adding a new company to the portfolio. We have 20% cash, but let's go to Affirm. This is a stock that I've never owned until this week when I added it to the portfolio. Affirm is founder-led, incredible founder. And what's exciting about this company is everybody's using it. Affirm is a buy now, pay later product, connects with merchants like Shopify, connects with Stripe. And most important thing here, like any of these degenerate economy companies, is profitable. So the big idea here is the company is just moving very quickly into positive cash flow. And I just think, of course, can be a cyclical business as people stop, bad debt. But I love everything about this company, from founder-led to the fact that we live in this degenerate economy where people can't afford stuff, but yet buy now, pay later is something young people do, which splits things into monthly payments. So Affirm, I think, is well positioned for the type of economy we're in. If there was ever a great time to own Affirm, is when the company is getting to profitability, has tremendous scale, and hitting the right type of economy for this, where everybody's thinking about how can I afford things. Now, I'm pulling this up on a company that we invested in called Fiscal.ai, really the easiest way to do fundamental research on all the financials of a company and pull up incredible AI tools to give you instant research reports. Okay, so that's a new portfolio holding. Let's get to some interesting degeneracy of the week. We're going to start with Polymarket. If I were to invest in one trend going forward, and we think about this at Stocktwits, and obviously Robinhood has rolled this out with Polymarket competitor Kalshi, is prediction markets. This is the future. I predict that Polymarkets will probably eat what is known as gambling today in terms of UI and depth of markets. Plus, I think what we're seeing with Polymarket is probably the best social content game in the world. Right now, they know news based on how people are betting and how people are putting real money up against real-time events, both regionally and global. So, I mean, if you look at their breaking news versus anybody else's in the world, from a scope and from what people are thinking about, from technology to crime to government policy to global policy, you can see that you can tap into how people think. And what's really fascinating about them is that we didn't see it coming. The gambling companies, DraftKings, FanDuel, have been working on betting and parlays for over a decade, and boom, something new comes in with just a better UI and exploding in terms of popularity. Okay, next, Google Calendar. Talk about this with my kids all the time. Another great product that you don't realize how many people use, and I just saw this in Wall Street Journal. College kids are using Google Calendar. I think this is a great thing. Kids need to learn how to manage their time. And as I tell my kids, if you get a paycheck, pay yourself first. Same thing with your time. The faster you get good at blocking time for yourself and all the things that you want to do, life gets a little easier because you have to take care of yourself. So it's good to see this is such an incredible productivity tool. I use it for everything, and it's nice to see a next generation picking up on this. And I think it's an important tool for the degenerate economy in terms of lifestyle. Okay, next, DoorDash reported, another company in our degenerate economy. Buco Capital, always funny, wishes he owned the stock. You can tie it to your Gemini account so that you get rewards in terms of Bitcoin every time you order food. So, there's just all kinds of ways in the degenerate economy to kind of loop in hacks where you can get paid for doing things. And even though this means being lazy and being at home and ordering overpriced food, which is just something kids do, this company, forgetting valuation or stuff, and it's done very well in our portfolio, it's just part of the culture and fabric of the degenerate economy. Okay, I think this is one of the most important trends, and it's a big argument topic around the world, is the wealth gap. I think what we're seeing, which is disturbing, but like reality, is it's kind of a steroid version of the wealth gap. And we're seeing it because Wall Street has teamed up with Silicon Valley to useful idiot the White House. In the sake of technology, which, as a consumer, I love, and as someone who has capital, I love, the wealth gap's just going to explode for the haves and the have-nots. And I think it's hard to measure this because this has never happened. There used to be a little more checks and balances. We had Wall Street, Silicon Valley hated it. Then we had Silicon Valley, Wall Street kind of hated it. And now they've realized together, the Goldman Sachses, the Z's, and the OpenAIs and Microsoft, as we saw at the inauguration ceremony, everybody sitting in a room, let's just get along. And sure, there's tweets saying Goldman Sachs sucks, but in the end, they're all in on it. And with tariffs, who doesn't get hurt? Mostly tech companies. NVIDIA just paid 15%. AMD just paid 15%. So these companies are not getting hurt. The rest of America, if you're in food industry, which is massive, packaging industry, which is massive, clothing industry, which is massive, huge bear market going on there. So again, this is the matchup that's changing the wealth gap. All right. Really, really interesting chart from Charlie, my friend Charlie Bilello. We're taking out 25-year highs in the ratio of growth to value. This goes to the tariffs too, and Wall Street teaming up with Silicon Valley, meaning the smaller companies and smaller businesses are getting hammered by tariffs and by the fact that tech companies have high margins and that investors are seeking growth. With interest rates high, there's two things that investors want to do. They need growth. Otherwise, they might as well just keep their money in cash. So the trend continues on as the S&P hits, as the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 hits all-time highs, and technology hits 34% of the S&P, that as technology improves, and because of the way the world is structured right now with Wall Street and Silicon Valley teaming up with the White House, it is going to be the large growth stocks that are benefiting the most from this trend. Now, will it continue? I don't know, but that's the way the world is cooking right now. So hope you enjoyed another episode of the Degenerate Economy.